Howdy y'all, Kaloth here. It is a big day. We've got a lot to talk about, so buckle up. This is probably going to be a long one. Before we start, please forgive me for any background noise. I've got my fan going because it's about 103 degrees outside right now, and even with the air conditioner going, that's just not keeping up. So I've got my trusty fan behind me. Apologize for the noise. Today we had the Road Ahead release, and there is a ton of big information in it. We're going to get into it. There's a lot of things to talk about. So let's just dive right in. Here's the post. I'm not going to read it word for word, but we're going to get into it, right? Talks about the road ahead. It says this road ahead will give us insights into the rise of the Imperial Remnant, the mysterious characters known as the Great Mothers, a PC beta update, and a new Ezra, the next Conquest character. And I'm here to tell you guys there's a lot more than that. It says here, as a reminder, anything in the road ahead is subject to change, but without further ado, enjoy July's road ahead. We're looking forward to reading and watching your reactions. So, starting out with the Imperial Remnant. After they were defeated on Endor, the Empire fractured and left the Imperial Remnant, blah, 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 as far as story stuff goes. The lead designer here talks about the design intent, and this is pretty relevant for the game, right? It says they're looking to build a thematic team around the fallen Empire while making sure to distinctly separate these characters from the Empire faction. Through design, their strengths live within Captain Enoch. Spoiler alert, Captain Enoch is one of the characters that's coming. One of his undead mechanics, which we'll go into at a later date. In addition to Night Trooper and the other new character that is announced here, Death Trooper Peridia, helping round out the Imperial Remnant squad, they will be required for the new galactic legend, Ahsoka Tano. We know of 3 characters here. First, Night Trooper, who we already knew a little bit about. We now have his kit. Night Trooper is an attacker who loves Blight. That's his new mechanic, or this is Squad's new mechanic. Loves Blight. Spreads blight amongst their foes, and has a case of the "if you can do it, I can do it" in their kit. Then we have Death Trooper Peridia. It is an attacker who loves blight and interacting with blight, and can be used on a Nightsister squad. Now, it's worth pointing out, Night Trooper has the Imperial Remnant tag, has the Nightsister tag, does not have the Empire tag. So we know it's going to be Imperial Remnant and Nightsister, but meant to go with Imperial Remnant. Sounds like Death Trooper Peridia will be the same. And then finally we have Captain Enoch. Captain Enoch he's one of the stormtroopers in Ahsoka, the Ahsoka TV show, who his helmet had the kind of gold, bronze-plated face mask on it. He didn't say much, he didn't do much, but he's coming to the game as the leader of the Imperial Remnant squad, equipped with a ruthless nature, Decay. So Decay is going to be kind of his new mechanic. He's going to be all about the undead troopers. That's only 3 characters. I don't know what the remaining 2 will be. We'll have to see. We've already got some Remnant in the game. Obviously, we'll see kind of how that balance shakes out once all is said and done. We have some cool art here for both of these. We have Night Trooper, who is coming to the game as a marquee later this week. Is already in game right now as of this update. You can check out his model. And then here's Death Trooper Peridia. Zombies in Star Wars. Look, you either love it or hate it, but this is where we're going. So if you love it, I'm happy for you. If you hate it, my condolences. Then, after the Imperial Remnant, the next thing we have is the Great Mothers squad. The Great Mothers are a mysterious and powerful group introduced in the Ahsoka show. They have a connection to the Nightsisters of Dathomir, and apparently they have names which I was not aware of. These are the 3 Nightsister figures that were allied to Thrawn in Ahsoka Season 1, and let's look at the developer insights on this. So it says, first off, we don't intend to break up the current Nightsister team. With the introduction of these new characters, we wanted to make sure we preserve the original team, but give this new squad its own unique identity, though we won't be surprised if you folks find a new team out for all these characters. It says, while we're still investigating some of the mechanics and the balance of these characters, We want you, the player, to make choices with this team. It's up to you to decide. It says the power level we're shooting for is around the strength of Gungans, with their own set of strengths and weaknesses, and we're excited to see another Nightsisters team coming to Galaxy of Heroes. So, who are we going to get with this? We're going to get the Great Mothers themselves. These are 3 characters who will be represented as one in-game unit. It says they will be the second large unit introducing the Galaxy of Heroes, the first, of course, being Jabba. It says the Great Mothers bring Fate Weaving and 2 new effects, Blessed or Blessed, and Doomed, to the table via their leader ability. Their abilities boost the effects of the existing Nightsister Acolyte and Nightsister Spirit, making those both good choices for the squad. And then we're also getting Morgan Elsbeth, a skilled warrior with impressive combat prowess, who will be the tank of the team. So, it says we expect the team, obviously, Great Mothers and Morgan, also Talia, Nightsister Spirit, and Nightsister Acolyte. Other options for the team include the 2 new troopers, Night Trooper and Death Trooper Peridia, as well as Nightsister Initiate. So this is another new team coming. They compare them to Gungans as far as power level. Interestingly enough, and we get confirmation of this in a couple of places, not just this road ahead. It sounds like both Great Mothers and Morgan Elsbeth will be marquee characters. And they are expecting those 2 new marquees combined with Talia, Nightsister Spirit, and Nightsister Acolyte, who, if you bought the Nightsister Lightspeed Bundle, are Lightspeed Bundle characters you already have at Relics, are expected to bring Gungan level power. So, Gungan level power with much less investment, as, again, it does sound like Great Mothers and Morgan will be marquee teams. So, we'll see how that works. Next, we have Ezra. The next Conquest unit, I guess they don't technically say next, but this is almost certainly going to be the Conquest unit after Luthen, is Ezra in Exile. Design intent says that they wanted to capture the growth and learnings of who Ezra has become during his time in exile in Peridia, and to that end, Ezra in Exile will be a support character that turns his enemies' strengths against them. So, 2 new squads, right? The new Undead Imperial Remnant, new Nightsisters, and now we have an Ezra Conquest character. And then also to round out the end of the road ahead, we have a PC open beta update. It says the PC closed beta has been out for a few weeks. They're happy with all the positive feedback and they want to open it up. It says, what's next for the PC beta? We've decided to open up the closed beta to everyone who has signed up for the beta up to this point, starting in early July. It says they're still working on a few backend issues that they've noticed. They're trying to create and implement some of the suggestions that closed beta players have given before going into open beta. So if you have been waiting for PC beta access, you signed up, you haven't gotten it yet, very soon, within the next week or 2, it sounds like, you'll be getting open beta. So Meathead goes into his kind of personal thoughts on the squad, and then we have one last tidbit of information that's expanded a little bit later on. It says, we're excited to bring more characters in the Galaxy of Heroes who are associated with Ahsoka, including Baylan, and appreciate the time to take a look and read this. So, there's our confirmation. Among Night Trooper, Death Trooper, Captain Enoch, Ezra, Great Mothers, and Morgan, 5 new characters already announced. They've just confirmed another new character, Baylan, and that's not to mention Ahsoka. So that's if I'm counting right, that is 7 new characters that we're going to be getting based on Ahsoka, based on that TV show. So what else do we have? Well, we have a new update today that puts a lot of this stuff in. The Battle for Naboo raid is live now. If you started the indoor speeder bike raid before Battle for Naboo was updated, you're still going to get your existing rewards from before the update, right? They snapshotted those. You're still going to get, Mark III tokens. Past that point, Battle for Naboo is the new featured raid. if you want Mark III raid currency, you have to be participating in Battle for Naboo. My guild is not going to have access to it for a couple of days because we still have a couple of hours left in our final indoor raid. Once we do have access to it, I plan on testing it out as much as I can with the characters that I have. And of course, all of the big streamers, the big names that you know, are going to be testing this probably today. I know for a fact that Fatal or the Playbook is going to be testing. He's who I look for a lot of the high-end theory crafting stuff. So definitely check him out, see what's going on. And if you're not prepared for Naboo, get ready. It's here. We've got a couple other just quick things, right? Mostly bug fixes, a couple of known issues, a lot of known issues for the Battle for Naboo raid, and then a couple of known issues for the Night Trooper, and then a couple of datacron bug fix things. Not a whole lot in the update post. Let's look at what we have in game. In game, if I can remember how to get to the newsletter, here we go. We have the in-game newsletter, which gives us more information. It says, we're thrilled to celebrate the Disney Plus show Ahsoka with plenty of exciting releases over the coming months, including Imperial Remnants and Nightsisters, which we've talked about. A new mercenary tag, which I missed the first time reading through this, but there's a new tag coming in the game. Keep in mind, in Ahsoka Season 1, both Baylan and Shin are referred to several points as mercenaries. You can count on it. They're getting a mercenary tag, which is probably meant to differentiate them from unaligned Force users and keep them from going under Seer, right? So we got a new mercenary tag. And then it says also, and Ahsoka's own new squad. Plenty of exciting releases, including Imperial Remnants, etc., and Ahsoka's own new squad. That tells me we're not done, right? We've got all these characters, but we can pretty well assume that Ahsoka is getting more characters added to go with her. That could be Sabine, that could be Hu Yang, that could even be Hera, Chopper, anybody that we saw as allies to Ahsoka, including, who knows, Carson Teva. I don't know. Light side characters that we saw in Ahsoka are still fair game and are still very likely coming, right? So this is going to be a behemoth of a content cycle. Says each marquee released will be required for either the epic confrontation for Baylan Skoll. That's our confirmation that Baylan is not just going to be a random conquest character, a random marquee. He is his own journey, or his own journey guide event, an epic confrontation similar to Bo-Katan Mandalore, I assume. Or for the pinnacle piece of this content, Galactic Legend of Ahsoka Tano. So each marquee released is going to be a requirement, either for Ahsoka or for Baylan. These requirements will be announced through the newsletter as well as in the journey guide, starting with the Night Trooper as a requirement for Ahsoka. For clarity, we've renamed Ahsoka Tano to Ahsoka Tano Snips. A lot of people already referred to that original Padawan Ahsoka character as Snips, so no big change there. We also, this was confirmed, but we do have this. Night Trooper has an exclusive datacron. This is basically the same way that Padawan Obi-Wan's datacron worked. So, because of that, let's take a look at the datacron set, because there is a new datacron set that is coming in the next conquest that's starting next week. And it's interesting, right? So, level 3... light side, dark side, kind of what we're used to. Level 6, instead of targeting specific factions in game, level 6 is targeting roles. So it's going to unlock bonuses for supports, for tanks, for healers, or for attackers. This is kind of the first time that this has happened here. It's not a faction, it's a character role. And then for the level 9, we have a massive large number of characters here. We have datacrons for Coruscant Underworld Police, Stormtrooper Han, Barriss, Iden Versio, Young Han, Sortie, Jedi Consular, Darth Nihilus, Sabine Wren, Bosk, Ewok Elder, Wampa. I don't think we've ever seen a Wampa datacron. I may look at that here in a minute. Vandor Chewbacca, Wat Tambor, IG-11, Emphas Nest, Garth Saxon, Gamorrean Guard, 000, Visas Mar, and Geonosian Soldier. So I know some of those are returning. Visas Mar, I assume, is that same level 9 that she's had that's made Starkiller pretty good. Some of these look very new. I want to take a look real quick. Let's take a look at Wampa. Oh my gosh. Not only are so many of these characters included, but they have several options, right? For Coruscant Underworld Police, there are 3 different datacron mechanics for him. For 000, there are 2. Gamorrean Guard has 2. Everybody has multiple options. This is crazy. Wampa. Okay, Wampa has 2 options. Whenever Wampa inflicts a debuff, recover 25% of their max health and protection. Or, whenever Wampa uses an ability, they deal more damage to a max of 100%, equal to half their potency percentage. This only triggers if Wampa has more than 0% potency. Okay. Visas Mar, yeah, Visas is the same one, but holy moly, this is a whole video in and of itself going over the datacrons. I don't know what to make of this. I'm assuming there are going to be some absolutely busted datacrons in here, but this datacron set is going to be weird. So many level 9 options worries me because this previous datacron set with, First Order and Galactic Republic and Gungans and Inquisitors, they had multiple options for faction, which we're kind of used to, but one of them was always kind of the chase. This is what you want for level 6, and it led to a lot of rerolls. This really screams to me like CG wants people rerolling datacrons more, which is not going to make it more fun. I'm not going to dig any more into this. We can do that in another video that's meant to go into datacrons. What else am I missing? Because there's so much. Two more things I want to talk about here, and I'm sorry, I know it's been long-winded. The first is Ahsoka Tano requirements. We have the first batch here. The first batch of requirements is Relic 9 Snips, which we already knew from the puzzle. Relic 8 General Anakin Skywalker. This is a really, really nice requirement, right? Relic 8 gas is already required for Lord Vader. Even if you don't have him at Relic 8 yet for Lord Vader, you probably have him at Relic 7, so a bump up to Relic 8, not so bad. Asajj Ventress, Relic 5. A lot of people already have Asajj up there, so that's not terrible. And then Night Trooper to Relic 7. So we have our first batch of requirements for Ahsoka. And then finally, the other thing to talk about. I don't care for this. A lot of people do. There has been a massive character art overhaul. And just about every older character has had, at the very least, its character icon changed, if not its art changed. I don't know if the video is super clear here, but you can see this in game. Jedi Master Luke notably changed, right? Supreme Leader Kylo changed a little bit. Sith Eternal Emperor changed a lot. Rey changed a lot. Jedi Master Kenobi changed a little bit. Darth Revan changed a lot and actually looks pretty awesome compared to some of these, which I'm not big fans of. Now, for most of these characters, it's just a character icon that changed. If we click into Jedi Master Luke, he looks the same, right? If we click into Jedi Master Kenobi, he looks the same, right? But take a look here. Grandmaster Yoda. We saw this profile pic a while back. Wondered if Yoda was getting a rework. Now I think it's safe to assume this was just part of this big art overhaul. But here we go. Here's the new model for Grandmaster Yoda. I didn't like it at first, but it's actually growing on me now. But all these characters, if it's an older character, chances are it has at least gotten a profile change, if not a full character art change. Here's another one right here. Darth Sidious. You can see his profile change here, but when you click in, he has changed a lot. I know I definitely don't like this one. The proportions feel all wrong to me, but I don't know. What do you guys think? What's your favorite art change? What is your least favorite art change with all this? There's a ton coming to Galaxy of Heroes in the next few months. It is very safe to assume, with all the information we have here, that we are not getting a fleet meta shift anytime this year. There will not be a new fleet in 2024 by all accounts, right? We're getting a new Galactic Legend, and in the space where Bo-Katan Mandalore was last year, we can assume we're getting that Baylan Skoll Epic Confrontation. Now, what I think this means personally, we are due for a new raid next spring, early spring. I think they're putting off ships so that they can release Red 5 along with probably several ship reworks, maybe even ship mods, before going into the next raid, which would be a Death Star Trench raid. So, here in 8 months or so, come back and tell me if I was right or not. But I get the sneaking suspicion we've been predicting Red 5 since this game launched. I think it's finally time. But the paradigm has shifted. CG used to work in quarterly cycles where every 3 months or so you'd get something new that kind of took place in a different area, right? So 2023 started out with Jedi Fallen Order content with Jedi Knight Cal. Then it moved on to, mostly Old Republic content with Leviathan. Then original trilogy with Galactic Legend Leia. And then ended up with the TV shows with Bo-Katan Mandalore. The year before that, you had Inquisitors, and then Profundity, Jabba the Hutt, and Dr. Aphra. So this year, we spent the first half of the year on the Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace and Naboo, that content cycle was twice as big as what we've been getting in recent memory, right? Which was great if you like the Phantom Menace and the prequels. If you're like me and don't care for the prequels, don't care for the Phantom Menace, maybe not as great. Now it looks very much like the next 6 months at least is Ahsoka Season 1. Just about everybody but Thrawn is here, right? And at this point, who knows? Thrawn may be coming. But it seems like, this is way too much content to fit into the next 3 months. This is going to be a long-term thing with a Galactic Legend and an Epic Confrontation as part of it. So, what are your thoughts about that? Do you wish we were bouncing around from era to era every 3 months? Or do you like staying in one place for, this more 6 month long period? Let me know in the comments. I'll be covering a lot more of this in detail in subsequent videos later this week. I like to go through all of the datacrons, talk about how I'm going to be targeting those, which ones I'm going to be looking for. I'd like to talk more about the Naboo raid. I'd like to talk, about some of these upcoming teams and how we want to prepare for it and what I'm personally going for, which I think personally I'm probably going for both of these things, right? I'm probably going to chase Ahsoka and Baylan Shin. Not everybody's going to be in a position to do that, so, how are you going to weigh these out? So there's a ton to talk about, but this has already been a little long-winded as it is. Thanks so much for watching and for, being patient with my fan noise here. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you excited about this upcoming content cycle? Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.